Please, can you please take your seats? We'll start the session as soon as you're seated down. Thank you once again, Kolkata Youth Ensemble. Beautiful music, come again and again. Thank you, Amitabh. Thank you. Please take your seats. Really good musicians. Hate to say goodbye. See you again. Please, can you take your seats? We'll start the poetry session as soon as you've all taken your seats. As soon as you've all taken your seats, we will start the poetry session. You'll enjoy the poetry session. You may not have heard a poetry session like this before. So I'll hand over to Mr. Sunil Bhandari, who will read his poems along with Ipsita Ganguli and Joie Bose after they have done their selfie session. All right.
So let me tell you a little bit about our poets. Sunil Bhandari writes poetry for his soul while being a finance man. His poetry has appeared in several compilations. He also hosts a podcast, Uncut. Joie Bose is an award-winning poet who has performed all around the world. When she's not writing poetry, she works towards gender equality in the technology space. Ipsita Ganguly's poems have been published in several national and international e-zines and anthologies. Some of her poems have been translated into Bengali and Assamese. Over to you, Sunil.
Hello. So thank you so much, Ramona. Thank you. It's so good to be here in front of such a lovely crowd. And there's nothing like poetry in the afternoon. So won't waste time. You've got the introductions. So right away, I'm going to ask Joie to read her poem and get the proceedings run.
Thank you so much, Sunil, and a very warm afternoon to everyone. It is rather warm. And since it's the Kolkata Literature Festival happening at the book fair, this is a very special moment to me, and I'm indebted to Shujata Di and the entire team for inviting us. I'll start with something that's quintessentially Bengali. A few years ago, I hope you all remember, a lady was, Bengali women outside Bengal, they were stereotyped. They were thought that all Bengali women do black magic. So this one is called A Bengali Woman and what it means to be a Bengali woman. Perhaps this is how we were raised, always asked to keep our spines straight, to hold our heads high and not feel daunted or ashamed to walk, as if our high heads were flags our families wore with pride. We were taught to question, to seek, to test, to try and then believe. I admit I've never been taught to quit, never to submit to anything wrong. For in Bengal, we worship the mother. She creates, nurtures, and destroys with conviction. We are magic, black and white. You still want to stereotype? On that note, I will ask Sunil to read a poem of his on Bengal, on Calcutta, because I must share this, he and I, though we don't always connect on a personal level, our poetries are always in sync, and that's magical. So over to you, Sunil.
Thanks, Joie. So, first time in the Kolkata Lit Fest, how can I not start with a poem on Calcutta? So, here goes. So, I just want to prelude the poem with a little introduction. So, our relationship with the city we have grown up in or know intimately is nothing less than a love affair. So it's capable of bringing us ecstasy and disappointments just the way a lover can. So Calcutta for me is that loved one who both fulfills and frustrates me. Calcutta, a lover's epitaph. There is no other place for me. Calcutta's streets have been mapped by my heart, and I can stop anywhere and tell you stories of when I was a child and the city a youth, of when I grew up and the city refused to. But in its heart now lie crumbling memories of all who grew tired of waiting for its mornings to burst out into light. Even as I sit on the curb and sip tea from earthen teacups grafted from its steam. I am still a lover, though in the shadow of its decaying facades and tired cathedrals, waiting for its glory to emerge from its cemeteries, the way a strand of grass cracks open a gravestone. I have invested too much of myself into this city, into the bloodstream of its roads, into the pores of its eccentricities, too much pain, too much sweat, too much semen, too much poetry, to now say, I abandon you. But I despair of this city, this lover. Doesn't it owe me anything? But it lurches from one wound to another as if life's expositions are lesser, if not written in scars. Now I feel abandoned. The city's faithlessness is now not of the senses, it is a disembowelment of my belief. And if in that deceit lies its definition, then it is also the epitaph to my irreparably broken heart. Thank you. Ipsita has requested that she would like to give one poem which is a kind of a story she wants to tell. So she will probably take the last slot. So I'll ask Joie now for another poem from.
Thank you, Sunil. Again, my poems are very much in sync with his. So I'm going to talk about, this poem is going to talk about the story of lovers in Kolkata, way back in the 70s. And while you listen to this, I'll request all of you to think about all the loves you've ever loved, especially during college, when you went hand in hand to book fairs and bought books together, perhaps. This poem is titled Miriam. Between the well-thumbed second-hand copy of The Prophet we had bought in 1969, I found your letter, browned and folded. We used to write letters then and spray attar. You were an Arabian Begum and I, Tagore's Kadambari. Both Shiva and Shakti were alive in us. Together, we were all the divinity. Then, in a while, they stained your palms for nikah and my feet with altar. I wished for you 1,000 sons and daughters. What else could I do? I knew you too would wish the same for me. We left that road not taken. Our love was as unfathomable as the universe is, as life, as God is. On the Ganges in a dinghy you had bought Amrita Preetham to life. I will love you like Sahib Ludvanvi, you had said. Your dupatta flew like a flag when you had lowered your head. You had heard the azan. Between you and your Allah, there was no one. When you opened your eyes, I could see my dark image in your pupils. You had always brought out a darkness in me. How else, Miriam, how else could two girls fall in love at that age, at that time? So deeply, so silently, so selflessly, so selfishly. We flowered in our desires like the ripples on my Ganga, like poetry. A few years ago, I went looking for your house. That house that is broken now, almost crumbling. The people there now are unknown. Miriam, hey, I asked. Are you there, Miriam? They all stared blankly at me, like I was talking to a ghost. They had changed your name at your nikah, and I never knew what it was. Over to you.
So, just to ask the audience, you want to hear a love poem or a poem on Ukraine? Ukraine. Love poem for you later. Okay. So we know the trauma in Ukraine, and I know of how helpless some of us feel listening to it and hearing and seeing what's happening there. And sometimes I wonder, do human beings only want graveyards on this face of the earth with just about any reason to justify it? So this poem is on this helplessness, which I feel whilst I'm here in Calcutta, listening and hearing what's happening in Ukraine. It's called Sounds of Living and the Dead. I can't even hear the cries in the wind. It's too far away. I'm safe here with her head on my chest and her breathing steady. The breath, the sound of it, the implication of it. And I will wake this morning with my blessing in my arms and the sun serene in its ascent. And my worries merely pinpricks in the universe. But somewhere, distances have no meaning as children cower in ruined corners, their arms tight around fear, as blood sleeps into water to grow next spring's flowers. I walk out in the mild sun of a fading winter and sit at the graveside of my heart. Thank you. I think,
10
Ipsita,
minutes
all
left.
yours now, right? Here you go.
Thank you so much. I'll just take the stand mic, please. Always such an honor to perform here. Those of us who've been brought up with book fair. A thought for a poem for a thought. Same period last year, I was overwhelmed with a singular focused thought, a deluge of thought. And that thought overtook me. There was so much othering. There was so much us versus them. Us versus them. Who's the us? Who's the they? With anything there was turbulence and there was people almost standing at opposite ends. And yet, in our heart of hearts, we all know there is no they, there is only us and us and us. There is only we the people rooted in India. And thus from this thought, this book was born. Rooted, India 75, and we the people. In 75 years, there's much that we have achieved as a nation. Freedom being the most important. How well have we the people taken care of this precious freedom? How well have we the people taken care of the power that is in our name? Have we emerged as worthy citizens, alert about our rights and dutiful about what we owe those who gave us this freedom, who gave us this nation? Where are we headed? Where do we want to be headed as a body of people united in our love for our country, responsible towards our motherland? So much of our own personal lives is also a tiny part of this nation's life for each of us to make this nation, especially us, perhaps the last generation, to be brought up by our grandparents who lived through independence of India and our parents who were independence's children. My first poem, The Nation That You Are or Have Become. I often wonder how time changes. Actually, it flies on wings unknown and slips like sand grains from the fist. Where were we then? When it was flying, slipping? Change is the only thing real. How it must have been for my grandfather when he was 14 and listening to Gandhi and Bose on the radio. How it must have been at 22 to witness the nation being born, and in the process, he losing so much. Yet, holding on to hope, intent, fulfillment, for the nation was born and handing over to us independence, freedom, responsibility, a spirit to uphold. And this nation travels in time, travels in ideology, travels. Time flies on the wings of the unknown, and sand grains slip from the fists. We the people, we the nation, juxtapositioned at the crossroad of time. My second poem is for the beti, the girl child. It's just been Women's Day, right? So here and in India, we keep on saying Lokhi mein, Bhalo mein, the shy, demure, fragile woman, and she's the Devi. Griha Lakshmi, Lakshmi jaise bano, wahi to Devi hai. But you know what? There are many Devis, there are many goddesses. Your daily Durga. I ask, what do you do with your daily Durga? The one that birthed you? The one that birthed your child? The one that you helped birth? Tell me, do you invoke her in splendorous faith the way you invoke the goddess? When your daily Durga comes home, post her daily dose of dreary chores, do you ask her to put up her calloused feet and pamper her with some hot tea, reciprocate the way she would greet you when you come home? When your daughter Durga comes to you, hassled by a predator's self-inflicted patriarchal right of harassing her, do you tell her to be Chamunda and Chandi and Raktadantika, for that is being Durga too, not just Lakshmi, not just Kamala, oh no. For Durga is she, the Bhubaneshwari, the Brahmacharini, the Kalaratri, all this and more is she, your daily Durga in every woman, for you to cherish, for you to invoke, for you to worship daily. My last poem is, of course, for India, but also for the world gone the way it has. It's called Unity. The lone baul plays his aktara, a song of sweet melancholy on the fields where man killed his own. Frothing and fuming and foaming at the mouth, celebrating differences loudly, a cacophony of deluded screams. Delusional, aren't we? When we tear each other apart, ripping the basics of humanity, we forget the reason we all came together was to help each other live better. Yet, we choose to celebrate friction, fragmenting ourselves into robotic bits, little islands of individual arrogance, me and mine and only mine, gathering then into individual groups, crying, me and mine, becoming mobs, shouting, mine, only mine, each mob dangerously like the other, losing individuality, just a snarling, frothing, fuming mass, each of them shouting, me, mine, better than thee, thine. Even as these mobs froth over, burning over in hellish rage, the universe embraces them all. Day and night, sun and moon, the planets moving in harmony. And the morning birds early at dawn call out to each other in different tunes, a natural symphony. And the sound of the tanpura and the sound of the sitar is tuned to the beat on the tabla in musical melody. If nature embraces differences, if different sounds can make music and different colors make a rainbow, then can we not cherish our uniqueness, respect our individuality, learn from our differences? Can we not remember that in these temporary bodies, we are here for an ephemeral bit in our journey towards the union with the universe? What if we can unlearn what separates us and focus on what unites us all? What if we relearn to live in harmony, cherish life's melody, each be a musical piece in the symphony, rising into one crescendo of unity, reveling in the oneness called humanity? Thank you.
Thank you, Ipsita. That was incredible. Thank you so much. We don't have much time, I think, so I'll ask Joie to wrap it up with a very quick and sensational thing.
Thank you so much, Sunil. Poets, we are dreamers, and we are all here because we are dreaming of a utopia through our poetry. So to wrap it up, I'd like to invoke the words of John Lennon here. Imagine there's no country, it isn't hard to do, nothing to kill or die for, no religion too. Imagine all the people living for today. Ooh. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Sorry for the going out of tune. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will live as one. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of all three of us, the poets of Kolkata, thank you for listening to our words.
Thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you, Sujata, for having us over. Thank you.